Is it one please stand for the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call, please.
All board members are present.
Okay, somebody make a motion to approve the agenda. Oh, before we do that, a modification we'd like to make. Item number 10 on the consent agenda. The fire chief would like to have us pull that one out, and we'll move it to E under new business.
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Moving item 10, fire department is conducting internal evaluations to fill a full-time position to new business E, 11E.
Support, Sylvia. 11E, yeah, 11E.
Right?
Yep. Okay, moving supported, vote please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mr. Sharwick?
Charlie, yes.
Ms. Frederick? Yes. Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvia?
Salvia, yes.
Mrs. Lewis? Yes. Mr. Hamel?
Hamel, yes.
Motion carries.
All right, the next item is a consent. What? Yes. That was the modification. Okay, so we need a motion to approve the consent agenda as modified.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as modified.
Support, Sylvia. Moved and supported. Any questions? Vote please.
Mr. Sharwick?
Charlie, yes.
Ms. Frederick? Yes. Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvia?
Salvia, yes.
Mrs. Lewis? Yes. Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Oh, yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so we probably have the longest list of announcements this time. So the announcements: Highland TV Center is hosting a Red Cross blood drive Tuesday, May 25th, first from 9 to 3. To Red Cross. May 12th. Township office will be closed Monday, May 25th, in observance of Memorial Day. Memorial ceremonies on May 25th, starting at 8 a.m. Highland Cemetery, 8:45 a.m. at Highland Veterans Park, and 9:30 a.m. at West Highland Cemetery. And I'd like to thank the VFW Post 9913 for placing American flags at Highland and West Highland Cemetery in honor of our veterans. The Highland Community Prayer breakfast will be at the Thrive Church on Thursday, May 7th at 8 a.m. Register at hwlba.com. Annual Founders Day Festival. We'll run for the People's Race on Saturday, May 16th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Activity Center's luau fundraiser will be held Friday, June 5th at 6 p.m. Tickets are $40 on sale now. Secretary of State Naval Office will be visiting Highland Activity Center Thursday, June 11th, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Race Day will be hosted at the Highland Township Complex on June 13th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Highland residents only. The festival and fireworks will be on Saturday, June 27th from 5 to 11. At the John Street Field next door. The next talk of the town meeting will be on Thursday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. in the Township Auditorium. Do we have a topic for that yet? Topic to be determined. And we'd also like to welcome Austin Sellers. Austin, where are you sitting? There you are. All right. So Austin is now a famous person because he's been recognized in our township hall. And Austin is because he was part of our consent agenda, we actually approved his hiring for a part-time activity center position. So thank you, Austin, for coming in. Appreciate it. Right, the next item 7 is presentations. These are all fine. And Chief, if you'd like to take those. Now, whenever anybody's going to get recognized, come up here and face the audience because the camera is over in the window. And then if there's anybody that needs to speak, this microphone will be. So if you want to go up there and do it from there, you can turn that around and.
Oh, yeah, it should turn that way, huh?
Like a little bit.
Poor Katie, the guy was going.
Is it loose?
Like that. Everybody?
Yeah, it's not actually anymore.
Not touching anything anymore. That's correct. First off, we have kind of saved a bunch of things to represent and kind of put a shout out to the fire department. We have such an outstanding force. We had a lot of things coming today in the last 2 months. First, we'd like to start off with our 2026 Paramedic Scholarship Award. We can get Aaron Reed, and unfortunately, Aaron Cleveland can't be here. But Aaron Reed wants to come up here. And Highland Township's commitment to the professional development of our personnel. Every year we give away a paramedic scholarship. Aaron, want to have a dog? There's a fire-based emergency services system. The program is designed to enhance the clinical capabilities of their staff, improve their patient outcomes, and ensure health continues to meet the evolving needs of the community. Candidates submit a formal application, including an essay, defining their personal goals, motivation, and commitment to the service. Budget spending for 2 employees each year to participate in the training program. We have 2 qualified positions that went out this year. Like I said, we can go to receiving our recipient and also bringing our quote. And unfortunately, can't be here tonight because she's at her class. So she's arguing out there with the equation. So please give me a round of applause, Mr. Reed. Next is an award we don't get to give out very often. It's one of those things that when it happens, we always cherish the moments, and the team members will never ever forget it. If I can get Captain Michael Becker, Commissioner Firefighter O'Rourke, Firefighter EMT Bill, Firefighter Paramedic Craig Buchanan, Firefighter Paramedic Mark. You're able to make it up here, please? Thank you guys for coming. So on behalf of Highland Township Board and Highland Township Fire Department, we'd like to formally recognize you and commend your outstanding performance and successful delivery of a baby during the recent emergency response. Your actions demonstrate exceptional professionalism, composure, and clinical skills under pressure. Delivering the baby is a high stakes event that requires not only technical proficiency, but also confidence, compassion, and decisive leadership. Your ability to remove focus, ensure the safety and well-being of the mother and child during a critical moment. This accomplishment reflects your great credit upon you, the Highland Township Fire Department, and the entire community you serve. It stands as a testament of your training and dedication, highest level of care. Fire Board and exemplary service, and thank you for going above and beyond the call of duty. Your actions will leave a lasting impact on the lives of those you serve. So thank you for that. I would like to point out one other thing before we truly congratulate you. This is an even stronger occurrence. Normally when you deliver a baby, you're transporting the mother and the baby to the hospital. This was one of those rare occurrences because the skill level of our providers, they're actually able to leave that baby at home with the wife and the mother, and they all got to remain at home and didn't have to go take the time to spend multiple days in the hospital and things like that. So it was a midwife on scene. We had complications, is why we called the fire department. With the use of midwife and our staff, and we're actually cool, deliver the baby, no complications, and have the baby and the mom stay home with refusals of care. So please congratulate them for their service. One, three. Congratulations. Was it a boy or a girl? Next is for the same award for delivering the baby for the our crews. But this time I can get dispatcher Victoria Joey and dispatcher Joe Quinn to come up. So to receive a strokes pen and EMS, you actually have to deliver the baby. So if the baby is already delivered when we get there, our crews are not considered the ones that delivered that. In this instance, it's not very often we get to honor this, or even sometimes it goes below the radar or above the radar, whichever one you want to call it. This time it was given call out to us that this was awarded. This is the same thing on the Bravo Fire Department. We really formally recognize you too, and the outstanding performance and the successful delivering of the duty during this emergency response. Your actions generating special professional ability, skills on the effort. Delivering the baby is always high stakes in the field, and you're able to talk about those here on the phone and help us through that endeavor until we could arrive. The baby was actually flown out and was fully delivered with your guys' aid before our crews even arrived. So I'm honoring you two today with our short spins, and congratulations, and thank you very much for your service. That I'm working on. We're almost done. So perfect. Next is a great honor of which little over half of our staffing is paid on call employees. They have an intensive 2-year probationary period that they must complete to become full-time employees with our department, or not full-time, become full-time on call employees off probation in our department. A little history and aspect of that. So Highland Fire Department training was established in 2019 to provide a structured, consistent, and professional approach to developing our firefighters. This program ensures that every member is trained to meet the operational, clinical, and cultural expectations of our department, and most importantly, things the community we serve. Throughout the program, our firefighters are guided by experienced field training officers who mentor them through hands-on skill development, real-world scenarios, and continuous evaluation. They are trained not only in fire suppression and emergency medical services, but also in communication, decision-making, and teamwork, skills that are critical in responding to emergencies. The mission of our field training program is to develop confident, and professional firefighters through standardized training, strong mentorship, and performance-based evaluations. We emphasize safety, accountability, and continuous improvement in everything we do. Our vision is to build a cohesive and high-performance organization grounded in integrity, professionalism, and teamwork. By this program, we strive to create a culture of excellence where our members serve with the confidence and dedication in every situation. The program serves as a foundation for long-term success of our department. Tonight, we're proud to recognize firefighter EMTs, Gavin Ruby, and lead. For that successfully completed the process, their commitment, hard work, and dedication reflect the values of Highland Township Fire Department and the community on it. So if all of them could come forward, please. This time, Tammy, we're going to swear you guys in for a council oath.
All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully perform the duties of firefighter in and for the Township of Highland, County of Oakland, and State of Michigan, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. All right, welcome aboard.
Well, it's been a tradition of ours when we do this, we actually officially give them their helmets. So we actually change our process, so they actually get their helmets as soon as they get hired in now. So that kind of went to the wayside. So now I get to have the honor of actually officially giving their badge that goes on the Class A uniforms, officially signified in this field. Firefighter EMTs. Everybody. Am I done for now?
Thanks.
All right. Thanks again, guys, and gals. Really appreciate it. And, I think hopefully everybody else in the room realizes that this election coming up is an important one because on the ballot is going to be a request for a millage to help make the fire department successful, keep it successful. And there'll be a little bit discussion about that a little bit later, but just keep in mind that it's an important thing. You know, there's a lot of stuff we do that is done because we just want to do it. These guys that form this service are the ones that will be at your door when you need them at a time when you'd never expect it to happen. So, I was an individual who was also my life was saved, but I fell off the roof. I broke my back, and within 6 minutes, they were there after my watch called. And so it makes it fun. You can have 6 minutes time, somebody show up and they're ready to take over the whole event. And I get to see the 911 calls on my phone, and you have no idea how many times they go out every single day. It's not a fire department. It's a department of people are there to make sure we're safe, secure, and when our needs becomes severe, that they're there to help us out. So whether it's there to lift you off the ground when you can't get up, or stop that breathing when something severe happens, these guys are there to take on that role. It is not an easy thing to do. I was in the 1970s, late 70s. It's more than to learn, but you have to know how to be. It's like everything in Township. As far as I'm concerned, by the time you're done with the training, you're done with the doctor. Without skill sets there. Like in cases, it's the first person that really does the duty of a doctor or a physician's assistant type thing. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. You do an awesome job. And I appreciate that I had an opportunity to be stable. So let's give these guys a hand. All right. Public comment. Anybody have something they'd like to say?
Not related to the.
Scratch, you go ahead and pull it down a little bit here. Okay,
Okay, it's on.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, again, give my support for the Woodland Ridge Road project. But my main purpose for being here is to acknowledge and thank Beth Corbin for working with us for almost a year on this project with the Special Assessment District, walking us through the process, helping us with the paperwork. Once we got through the process, Jennifer Frederick stepped up as treasurer to work with us on how do we allow some residents to prepay so that they would pay less over time. So I just wanted to acknowledge those two for working with us. And their hard work really paid off because out of the 50 homeowners, more than 30 homeowners have already paid for the project. So the other 20 are going to pay through their taxes over 10 years, and we're going to have roads in our subdivision that hopefully will last us another 20 years. So that's it.
that's very much, that's many times we don't get in these positions, and I have to say kudos to both of you as well. It's a tough job to keep all that stuff together, and a lot of people don't have any idea how much work is really involved. So thank you for that's a really great thing. Thank you. Okay, any other public comment? All right, we're gonna move on to other. What? Public comment? Yeah. As I said, a lot of things have been rolling into the fire department in the last couple of months. I'd like to take a second real quick to point out three of them that came in. First was a very beautiful thank you card that came in from one of our citizens. It's not every day after we transport and we understand what happened. This one gave us a very big thank you for saving their loved one's life. They actually went into 3 different episodes of cardiac arrest while in the hospital after we transported them. 3 stents and 1 weeks in the hospital, but the patient is home and in physical therapy. And it's a beautiful sight to hear. And we're thankful that that patient is doing well. Thank you to our crew members that were able to transport their loved one on that day. Second, we received a letter from the Township of West Bloomfield, from their supervisor office. They wanted to thank us for the time and commitment we put into the incident that happened in their community a few weeks ago. There's a lot of factors involved in that, a lot of departments involved in that, and we were one of them. They wanted to make sure to give us thanks for that. And the last one I wanted to bring up was from the robotics program that was the tournament that was hosted at Milford High School. They sent a thank you email and thank you letter, so appreciating us for providing EMS coverage at a basic level for them throughout the whole event. It's better coverage than they normally obtain at those type of events, and we helped them out significantly with that. And they wanted to thank us for that continuing dedication to the product to the kids. There's been too many of the things. There's sometimes reasons to have EMS on hand because the robots get out of control once in a while, and not too often, but they can lose some time. So, all right. Any other comment? All right, we'll move on to public hearing. So the first public hearing is the final assessment rule for Flynn Road Special Assessment District for improvement and maintenance of roads. 6:54 p.m. And so, what comments open to anybody that would like to speak about that? If we have nobody here, then 6:54 and 37 seconds. In the end time? No comments. Okay. We'll move on to the next one. This is also a public hearing. It's the final assessment rule for Woodland Ridge Subdivision Special Assessment District for improvement of roads. We'll open the public hearing at 6:55. Do you have anybody from Woodland Ridge that would like to make a public comment? Okay, no public comment. All right. And so a note on that, any appeals or complaints against either of these you must record names on appeal if they want to be made at the tax tribunal. So if there's somebody that's involved in this, you can appeal it at the tax tribunal. All right. That item's down. Move on to pending business. Okay, so this is where we pick up with consider approval of resolution 2620 for final assessment role for Flynn Road Special Assessment District. For improvement maintenance of roads. So if anybody doesn't know, Flynn Road is a little skinny smith that goes out into Duck Lake. And it's about wide enough for a Volkswagen. The fire department, you don't even go out there with it. It's a dangerous little road. It's been that way for 100 years, literally. And so it's good to see that the people of Flynn are taking it, unfortunately, taking it upon themselves to have to pay to reinforce that road by, some steel sheeting, I'm sure, and widen it up.
I make a motion to approve resolution 26-20, approving the assessment role for the Flynn Drive Improvement Special Assessment District for the improvement and maintenance of roads and related services pursuant to 1954 PA 188 as amended.
All right, any discussion? Pardon me?
We need a second.
Okay. Okay, now discussion. No discussion, vote, please.
Ms. Frederick?
Yes.
Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvia?
Salvia, yes.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mr. Sharlick?
Sharlick, yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Hamel, yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is basically the same. Consider approval of resolution 2621, final assessment role for Woodland Ridge subdivision special assessment district for improvement of roads. Get a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve resolution 26-21, approving the assessment role for the Woodland Ridge subdivision road special assessment district for the improvement of Woodland Ridge subdivision roads and related services pursuant to 1954 PA 188 as amended.
Support, Salvia. Moving support, any discussion? Please.
Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvia?
Salvia, yes.
Mrs. Lewis? Yes. Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mr. Sharlick?
Sharlick, yes.
Ms. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so next item is consider adoption of zoning ordinance map amendment Z038. This was introduced back on April 6th. So now it's up for adoption approval at this meeting. And it is rezoning a portion of parcel 1129-100-025 from R1.5 single family residential zoning district, 1.5 acre density to C3 low impact commercial zoning district for 3151 West Highland Road, owner and property owner Valco Properties LLC.
So planning commission looked at this. The piece of property is directly behind I guess the storefront for a landscaping company that is by the old Stevenson's junkyard. The property is weird because it's got two different zonings on it right now. The rear half is zoned differently, it's zoned residential. The master plan is C3, which got created not that long ago, which is a kind of a low impact commercial usage. which allows them to use it basically for storage, which is kind of what's been happening over the years. And I'll just read a couple of facts and findings from the planning commission. The existing proposed use is consistent with basic intent of the proposed zoning district, which is C3. The proposal is concurrent with the approved master land use plan. Conditions have not changed since the current zoning was adopted. The proposal would not set an inappropriate precedent since it is consistent with the master plan, and the proposal is compatible with the surrounding land uses. We will see obviously like a site plan with this if it is rezoned tonight, and we kind of set the bar to let them know that to the east of that property, we're gonna, because it is kind of farm field to residential, we're gonna want to see some pretty extensive buffering for that landowner. If anybody has any questions about what the planning commission had, I can answer them if you have any.
So there's pretty strong on that, so.
I make a motion to approve the adoption of the zoning ordinance map amendment Z 038, rezoning a portion of parcel 11, 29, 100, 025, and one R 1.5, single family residential. R, and then 1.5, density to C3 low impact commercial zoning district for 3151 West Highland Road. Property Relco Properties. Support.
Okay, discussion? Quiet group here today. Everybody's quiet. This is amazing. When you look, maybe we'll do that. Okay, so if there's no discussion, then vote please.
Mr. Salvia,
Sally, yes?
Mrs. Lewis. Yes. Mr. Howe,
Yes.
Mr. Sharlick,
Charlie, yes.
Ms. Frederick,
Yes.
Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Hamel. Motion carries.
Okay, next item, consider adoption of zoning ordinance map amendment Z 039. Another rezoning parcel 1117-300-027 from ARR agricultural and rural residential zoning district to R3. Single family zoning district, 3 acre density. Or 32643 Country Acres Drive, owner property, owner Jeffrey and Shelby Camarella.
Okay, again, the planning commission reviewed this. It passed, I think, almost unanimously. I think there was one disagreement with it, but to the northwest of this piece of property, there's already a piece of property on Hickory Ridge Lake that got rezoned. Not that, Beth, wasn't that not that long ago, I think, right? Okay, yeah, so to the northwest, something got rezoned, and to the south of this property, everything is zoned, basically what he's asking for the most part, so. It was expressed that basically the property is a little over 10 acres, he wants to rezone and basically do a straight split down the middle. And he expressed the reason was they wanted, I think one of his sons wanted to build a house basically on his, so we looked at the roads and made sure that the road, it's on a private road. We're really trying to talk him into getting a private road agreement. He's together. We can't force him to do it really, but we're kind of trying to use this to help it along. And the guy that owns this piece of property is the one that actually maintains the roads, I think is what he was saying. So it's not going to impact anything in the area that, you know, it's kind of pigeon-toed in right now with other pieces of property that have already been followed that, and it's also a lot of pieces of property around it are some smaller size than that too, so but planning commission was in support of rezoning.
So they could have a total of 3 lots there, though.
Right.
Well, if it's a 3 acre zoning.
There's a lot of lands on the site. The zoning administrator actually encouraged them to do a survey in advance. And they've delineated the wetlands, and there's only room for 2. Existing house and 1 more.
Thank you.
All right, anybody want to make a motion to? adopt? Jenny, you're the motion maker tonight.
I make a motion for the adoption of zoning ordinance map amendment Z 039, rezoning parcel 11-17-300-027 from ARR agricultural and rural residential zoning district to R3 single family residential zoning district, 3-acre density. Is this the right address?
Digits.
For 2643 Country Acres. Correct. Drive, owner and property owner Jeffrey and Shelby Camarillo.
There's a
Yes.
Charlotte support.
okay, moved and supported, in discussion. That question about the address was there was an errant 3 in front of the address there. Okay, no discussion, then vote please.
Mrs. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Howe,
Yes.
Mr. Charlotte,
Charlotte, yes.
Ms. Frederick. Yes. Clerk Flowers votes yes, Mr. Salvia,
Salvia, yes.
Mr. Hamel,
Hamel, yes.
motion carries.
Okay. Next item, consider approving resolution 2617 or 2618. The submission of fire millage proposition to electors. So at our last board meeting, I made a motion to approve directing the elected officials to prepare ballot language for 2 proposed fire millage questions and present the language for board approval at the May 4th, 2026 board meeting, that's tonight, for subsequent submission for placement on the August 4th, 2026 ballot. Mrs. Lewis supported, motion carried with a roll call vote. Everybody voted yes. So the thing we didn't know at that time was that we needed to be 2 questions. But we didn't know what the questions would be and how they would be formatted and the language. And so tonight we need to make a decision how to move forward with this. And we've put some of the members of the board and Nick and our attorney through some really lengthy conversations on this, and it's really difficult to understand. So what happens is when we have these 2 questions, it creates a potential for some confusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand out the first one, which is 2 questions. This is what would be on the ballot. Then you are given this, you're standing at the voting booth, and this is what you see on your ballot. Provided you haven't done it, the absentee ballot, had some time to look at it, and probably call somebody at the township to try and figure out what it says. You already know this by heart. So what happens here is, I'm going to read this to you because I think you'll get the point of where we're going with this. So, first question reads: shall the Charter Township of Highland be authorized to remove expiring voted 1.85 mills, in parentheses, $1.85 per thousand of taxable value, reduced by the required millage rollbacks for fire and medical services, up to 1.85 per thousand of taxable value as an increase in the tax limitations imposed under Article 9, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution, and levy it for 6 years, 2027 through 2032, inclusive, which will raise an estimated $2,178,355 in the first year of the levy. The village is levied upon a total of 800,237 properties, of which a small portion collecting from only 605 DU district properties will be dispersed to the Highland Downtown Development Authority for business and economic development. Did everybody understand it? So imagine standing and reading that, okay, that's one question, you answer yes or no. So then you get to the next question, you don't know, you don't. So you're gonna have to read the next question to make a decision based on the question that we had. So when the board moved to, well, forward with 3.1 mils, those two questions, we didn't know how this was gonna lay out. So the question number two, shall the Charter Township of Highland be authorized to remove expiring voted 1.5 mils? It's just about exactly the same. $1,500,000 of taxable value reduced by the required millage rollbacks. That's called a Headland Amendment. For fire and medical services, be increased up to 3.1 mils. That's $3.10 per $1,000 of taxable value. There's an increase in the tax limitations of Article 9, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution. Budget for 6 years, 2027 through 2032, inclusive, which will raise an estimated $3,650,216 in the first year of the levy. The proposed levy on 8,237 properties, of which a small portion collected from only the 605 district cards will be dispersed to the Highland Downtown Development Authority for business and economic development.
Question.
No, they, we start to shall the Tower Township be authorized to, and that's the question.
Use your microphones because.
Never mind. All I want to.
So what happens is you end up looking at a page on your portion of your ballot with two questions on it. What we would like to do, because and you have to also understand that this has nothing to do, it's kind of like the schools, has nothing to do with the fire halls and their buildings and their machinery and equipment. This is, we need to be able to handle things for the firefighters and general business. When you do these two questions, the question becomes, which one do I pick? Well, the reality is the second question is, if you start doing math on this, you think, well, if I do this one, and say yes to this one, the first one doesn't get added to the second. This doesn't get added to the second, you're making a decision to pick this. When you pick it down here, it's saying yes, you're going to add 1.5 and it's going to come up to 3.1. So confusion is what we're trying to avoid. So the main result is if you start looking at these and you go, well, this is something I can look at, I'm not trying to say it's how to look at it, but the reason this kind of expansion is because when I looked at this language, it offered me to the point where I'm going, so that is problem. This can be confusing to everybody. Here for me was that somebody looks at this and goes, well, I don't want 4,650,000 collected. I only want 2 million collected. And we'll get it for the first one, and we'll go yes. And Joe decides to vote yes on the first one. So the second one. So I was supposed to vote no on the second one, and vote yes on the second one. So you could have a ballot question that could have yes on 2 different things, and one. Now the other, if you pick the other one and say no to the other number, what essentially happens is you get yes money, and you don't say no to it. It's just not what you would do. So it's confusing because the requirement is it's language in there that gives you the option to stick with what you have, which has already been reduced by the Revenue Act. So that's a really not disability with this being presented this way. So what I would like to do is I think the initial procedure, do you understand it? Is it one man to listen to the public number? Traffic, because if they vote for that first one. And the second one, we don't know. There's some time in the opportunity to go to the next. So what happens is, if they get one voted against, they voted down. Now you have the opportunity to go back to the election and ask for a different image. That's not clear cut thing here. There's three potentials in this. And everyone is told what it might be. It's not an assurance that we get voted on. So it scared me enough that I thought we should have that conversation and that we should be thinking about how this thing leads. So what we do is we that would work and came up with a second option, which is a single question. So the thing that's important here to understand is why two questions? Because what the law says is you cannot increase a millage that is current, right, currently operating more than 0.5 mils. Unless you have questions. So you intended to increase it by more than 0.5 mils to get it through. So that is where the questions come from. So what happens is the clarity, or to simplify the question, if you come up with one question on the ballot, it's a little more sense to say yes or no to an item. No, I don't want to increase it by 0.5 mils, or yes, 0.5 mils. And you try and figure out why did I have two questions that repeat themselves and don't make sense. So you're open to a lot of confusion. So if you look at the second round, it's not signed over that different. So shall the charter township of Highland be authorized to renew the expanding voting village of 1.85 mils of about 85% of taxable value reduced by required village rollbacks requiring emergency medical service and impose an increase of up to 5 mils or 50 cents per thousand of taxable value for a total value of 2.32 mils. 2,032 cents per $1,000 in taxable value as an increase in the tax limitations imposed under Article 9, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution, and level for 6 years. 6 years. Jennifer's been going crazy because she's been trying to work with the attorney to get these things. Through 2027, 2027 through 2032 inclusive, which 2.32 mils will raise an estimated $2,731,774 in the first year of the levy. This is levied upon total of 8,237 properties, of which a small portion collected from only 605 rural district properties will be dispersed to the Highland Downtown Development Authority for business and economic development. That language is all required in law. So doesn't raise that the chief would like to raise. It puts a little bit of a pinch, but what it does is it opens opportunity for down the road within that 6-year period to have an opportunity to come back to the voters several years later and say, hey, here's where we're at, here's what it's happened with it's hard to get on to how to keep firefighters. Think one is, but I want to get that across to the public. So this is the quandary here, and the question is, regard, how do you present this? You know, if it makes more sense that you're really saying that the previous money was 1.85, it's expiring. So we state that and add a small addition to us. That makes more sense. That, well, it's identical, it's really the same thing, but only you, instead of adding 0.5, you're adding, whatever that number is, it's a number that get up to 3.1. 1.25? So you're adding 1.25 instead of 0.5. So if you do 1.25, now you have to have the two questions, which then throws in what are we talking about here? So,
What happens if the second one gets voted down? They don't get anything?
that's converted down.
And this one right here.
We'll go back in November and ask another question. But they still have funding for 2027 on the existing millage goes. The existing millage is still going to be collected this winter for funding the department for next year. So then we could, if nothing passes in November, we could have a special election next year.
Yeah, I think, I mean, unless you really know what you're talking about, I think this is pretty confusing or whatever, you know? I mean, it's a lot of language in there. It seems like it can be made simpler, but that's what happens when you get involved with language like that, but. And this is probably the safest one right here, in my opinion, just because it's very clear, basically, right? But, you know, I like the backup. I like that we have something there backup wise too, because if for some reason it doesn't get approved for whatever reason, then we have some time to figure out what the backup.
Right. The question, it doesn't state when it's expiring. That would probably help if it says to remove the expiring. You know, it'd be nice to know then when it's expiring, so people would then see it's not expiring now or tomorrow. Just for clarity. Well, that's more words that add to the the confusion. And Grant, I think that you get to the point. But what I was trying to point out with this two question thing is you have the possibility that you would get voted in, which it's unacceptable. It's less than what we already had, you know, so.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they would basically, you know, there's a good chance people could say, well, I like this lower one. And which is an option. But I mean, if that's basically, there's still a backup plan for the public, right? If they say no to this, there's a backup plan. We either got to, you know, the community's either got to, you know, get out there and really bring, you know, let people know, right? Or then you have to go, you got to reduce or something like that.
Right. So, and with the questions, there's a possibility that it does get voted down, and then we can go to November. There's also the possibility that the first one gets voted in, and now we're stuck with a millage that is even less than what you really less than what you need. So,
I mean, I think this is personally, I mean, I think I understand that we've gone this route where we haven't increased it for a long time, but I do think that this for some people is going to be a more palatable increase versus just go like you're saying, we can increase it to this if we need to. And if we need, then we can work on it again or whatever, versus just going a lot, you know.
I don't want to do anything here. I just so confusing. Scares me that we can put ourselves in a degraded position versus. I think whatever way we go, obviously the education. The language, the citizens is important. Like so many times you voted, there's so much language on these ballots. And it's hard to even, and I'm a government teacher, and I think I know some of this stuff, not all the numbers and stuff, I'm a math teacher, but the idea that educating, whatever way we go, and even whatever form we go, there's got to be a good education push to the public to explain to them exactly what's happening, because it's confusing to a lot of people, and it's confusing just because sometimes you just can't finish the sentence without being clear with this stuff. And that's just because that's all that language. Not being funny, it's just the point that you kind of lose track sometimes what you're doing. And then, so I said, if we remember the two questions, you got to make sure it's explained well. And if you go with whatever one we go with, though, we really got to work on. And I'm sure that's the plan. It's hard now, though. So we don't have the newspaper and we don't have the way that we used to be able to get the information out to people. So that to be a really
big push by everybody that's on board to get out and tell your neighbors and explain, and just like anything in politics, but because it is confusing, there's no doubt about it. You're right, if you go this route, you see bigger numbers a lot of times. Nope, I don't want that bigger number, not realizing actually how it's set up. So that's the biggest thing. Again, no matter which way we go, there's got to be a big push for simplifying it, I think, and really reducing the language to a point where it's understandable. This is
This
the language. Yeah, but just, no, when you're teaching, you gotta simplify. This is what it says, this is what it means. Because I think a lot of people will go in, if they see it for the first time, they're gonna look at that and they're gonna go, holy crap. I don't know what reading in here. That's tough.
The single question is better. It pretty clearly states that we had an existing rate that expired. We're going to do that, simply look for a small increase after that. And this is a simple bit, but one question and two. Right, we really would like to present it 3.1 mils. But because it exceeded 0.5 mils, it became two questions, which then turned into, because if we could just ask the question, do you want to raise it to 3.1 mils, then the public has one question answer, yes or no. But the two question part is, wait a second, what kind of, shell game are we playing here? We're bouncing two things back and forth. Looks, personally, looks devious. Why would we do it that way? If you want 3.1, it's just ask for that. Why are we asking for this opportunity to ask for less? It doesn't make sense. That's the way the law is written, so we have to do it that way. And if we have a more language in this, it's only who's going to read a book on the ballot. Certainly not going to put a whole page for that question.
Well, I'm not saying, I'm not saying add more language to it. I'm just saying somehow we got to find a way. This is what it says, and we're sending stuff out to people. And this is kind of like the old dummies guide books they used to make, right? And it's like a dummies version to not being mean to it. But here's a simplified version of what this really not on the ballot. I'm saying as we're educating people, sending stuff out, or I don't know, going door to door, like when you I don't know, whatever, but something like that, where you have to it has to be simplified. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I'll give you an example of simplifying this. So the Township Board has authorized the fire department to be up to 3.1 mils. All right. And say expiring 1.85 mil. Right. So you see what's happening here? Now you're stretching the words out, and the word gets even more complicated. So this is probably the absolute simplest that you can state this.
It's more like you're trying to do. This is what we need, and this is how we're going to get there. That's what we really. Again, not adding. I'm not saying add stuff to this. I'm just saying, just a campaign that explain what we're doing. That's all. Just because people are going to read this and go, a lot of times increases scare people too. Tax increases.
Okay, so any other questions?
I just wanted to add one thing. I think one of the main things here that I would ask if I didn't know what was really going on from a military standpoint is what happens if this is voted down? Does the fire department keep what they already have, or does it eliminate what's currently in place?
If you vote, which one down?
Yeah, if this is all voted, if it's one question, but everybody votes no, saying it doesn't pass, then what happens?
Then we still have the existing millage that will expire next year.
Right.
We'll have to put it up for question again in November. So that's the reason you put them. But as you're saying is that if they don't know on the renewal, we have need for the fire department. Right. Next year.
Next year.
No, what I'm saying is they can go at the election in November, they can rewrite language again. But the problem with the first one is if everybody only votes yes on this first one, then they will never get any extra money, because that's one that's got to go on the ballot, right? Am I correct? Yeah.
So it's kind of like you potentially you're cutting your. So it's better to say, have the public say, we don't feel good about this.
The chief's good with, you guys have just like we can make this work is what we've discussed.
It's a chucker. I mean, we've been through a lot of work to try to figure out, how do you see firefighters, to keep them on board. There's a shortage of firefighters all over the country. You just put an ad in the paper and pluck somebody out of the air. You need people that have the ability to become medics because we're in the LS department. So it's not a simple operation, and then we have the fire departments in Oakland County who are out there trying to, rob the police because we do a good job of training them. So it's a matter of, in order to keep people around, we should have been looking at the villages, and I'll say that in the 14 years I've been involved in this, every chief that we've had, all of them now, I made this question, I asked the question, are you sure that you are asking for enough money? And they have say, oh, okay, we're okay. Well, we weren't okay. They were afraid that they wouldn't get what they wanted. And what happens is you have to ask the question. You got to put it up there. If it's a hard one, if you don't ask, you won't get an answer. And if you ask for too little, you get an answer, and that would be like getting the answer on the first question and saying, well, here's what I'm going to stick you with. It's what we've been running with for the last 14 years.
So I had that feeling when we asked for the millage for the fire. I wasn't on the board then, but I felt, I'm not saying we don't need nice fire departments, but you can't just have nice fire departments and think it's going to keep firefighters there. You got to pay them. So now we got the situation where we got nice fire departments, but now we got to double down and ask to pay the firefighters because they're not just going to be there because the building went again.
Trucks don't run, can't save people with a piece of equipment. You have somebody that's out of the hand. And the other part of this is going to be critical. I mean, two firefighters are on here. We as board members cannot suggest what to say. We cannot tell people what to go down. It's I don't know, I mean, because it's a lot for us to do that. So we can't do it. Right. So anyways, we can put out documents to say, you need to vote for this. Township can't. So somebody has to be able to go out there and educate the public. That's the fun players, your union allows you to be able to give some for the fair owners. I will campaign for this. So you can do that, but we can't do that from these seats. We can't campaign for this. You guys can, and it's important that you guys take that responsibility and get out there and get the public to understand how important you are to them.
Current millage is expiring on the date. The Township of Highland is asking for a continuation of the 1.8 mils and an additional 1.25 with total. Right, it has to be in two questions, like.
It has to have the one that rolls it back to the 1.85. You can vote yes or no, and then increases it to the 3.1, and you can vote yes or no.
So you have to give somebody the option to leave it the same. If you increase it more than 0.5 mils, right, you have to give them the option to leave it the same or to increase it. So the second thing he's saying is if you only increase it by 0.5 mils, you can do it in one question.
Sure.
On this day, the township is asking for continuation of the 1.8 mils plus additional 0.5 mils. And then we address the additional 1.
So that would be the only question if we approve that one.
So that would be easier to understand the one that we probably instead of passing.
No,
Oh, she said it right. She said it right.
Oh, you said, yeah, that's question number 3. That would be a single question thing. Yes, sir.
Then give the renewal and then increase, and then if that's what the issue is going about. I'll try and do the renewal this year because it's going to next year. If we go for a 1.25 increase, and then roll the dice next year for the renewal of 1.85.
Next year would have to be a special election.
So big. No votes scheduled. Next year.
It's not just that. It's that the law says you can't raise it by more than 0.5 mils in a single question. So it's a matter of 5 mils, you're gonna have to ask 3 questions, and those questions are gonna be essentially exactly what this says here. So how do you want to work with this? I mean, how does the public want to work with this? How are we going to look at this? When I look at the general sense of politics and power, well, it's very country. It's like it's starting. We're not raising on the because you can't do that in this one. Because we have an existing millage. Next year. We're going to have a special election. I mean, that's possible, right? I mean, you can ask, but you also have the possibility you may not get that one. Now you got nothing. Whoa. No fires today.
I mean, I'd like to hear from the chief, just I mean, this is our decision, obviously, but he's the one that's gonna have to live with it. So. What part would you like? Whatever part you want to tell us. I mean, you're the one that's got to take the money that gets brought by this and make it work, or maybe fit what you think needs to happen.
Well, look at the way we're going to go. I mean, like the capital improvement budget, all that aspect. So we're going to keep up with the times, the Buffington. Like Supervisor said. We have staffing people at the old station and having them sleep in basically closets. So we had to go for the capital improvement budget to get new stations so we could house 24-hour staffing. Because we have no housing for 24-hour staffing at our stations. So it was kind of a catch, we had to do one and move the other one. Now we've got the stations, now we need to start moving forward to catching up on the staffing. We need to give proper coverage for our citizens. As is right now, the last number we're getting is over 20% of our calls, we're back-to-back calls. You take one ambulance out at one ambulance call, and that completely takes our fire coverage down to just 2 people. So I mean, we cannot enter the structure until we get more people in there. Then you take 20% of those calls in back-to-back calls. That means there's no people on staff for a fire that comes out. Makes it very difficult for structural firefighting, obviously. And the safety aspect of saving people and getting people residents out of the houses and protecting the property, which is what our goal is. With that, they're making do with the staffing we have the best we can with what we have right now. With the increases of everything, it's getting more and more expensive, and the heavy rollback and the increase in property taxes, I would say barely keeps up with it. But we're trying to catch up with the wages with the area, with the current times and all that aspect. It has made it very difficult to keep up. Normally, it would be to keep up, but trying to catch up makes it she can't do it. That's where we're at right now. The budgets I presented were come next year's budget, we will be using some of our savings account to cover the budget for wages and cover everything that we presented a few years ago. So the plan was to try to start working on fixing this, hoping that as the values, if they increase enough, that'll help a lot. As our run volume increases, that also helps cover some of that negative, so it's not as significant. It's nowhere near what I projected it would be just because of my run volume and AS transport. So this year was supposed to be in red, but because of the AS revenue, it's negated that red, and we're still on the positive for our wages and for our cost. That's the hard part. Is it? We know at the fire department, everything is on the citizens. We don't have a huge industry. We don't have a lot of business in Wichita. We don't have the grand river corridors that are going down to areas. We understand that every penny we ask for is the majority of it's coming from the citizens that we're serving. And so we're trying to do this the correct way. And in the most appropriate way, we do need to increase now to catch up with the times of where we're at. We're trying to do as minimal as possible. But expect around the state regulations, all the training regulations we have, all the hours we have to put in the training just to maintain the firefighter certificate. Multiple hours you have to do for EMS certificates, all that stuff. We need help with administration staff to track all that, and we need help with all that stuff to keep moving forward and have the department to move forward. So now it makes it a difficult aspect of how do you do this? What do you do? You know, do I want to say no? I don't want. I want just go ahead and go for this to bare minimum. No, I don't want to say that at all. I want what I presented, and that's why I settled on that presentation because I 100% feel that's what's right. We need to go on to 8 staffing a day, so we can average 6. So when somebody calls 911, I have a month clear on the fire truck ready to go at all times. That's what our citizens deserve. Right now, it's difficult to do that. Right now, we only have 1 person in that fire truck because we can't staff enough. That's the hard part.
So the thing that makes me nervous about it though is if that first option gets voted, then you get what you had before.
Right. That's scary. That's I'm actually a novice at wording of this stuff. So I've been running until we got this wording. Where you can figure out what's going on. Still don't completely understand it. I don't understand how Headley works and takes effect before we even collect it. There's a whole bunch. Jen and I have been back and forth, and Tammy helped me out a lot. But I don't understand yet, and it still doesn't make complete sense to me. But it's the hard part is that if we just go for the renewal of the 25, we'll just get that. We will possibly maintain, but there's not going to be any kind of. We're going to go on the if we do wage increases, if we're going to do, if we give raises, if we give any kind of increase in our benefits and things like that, which we're still trying to fix to get up with the times, and we do any of that past 27, that'll eat away all that money very quickly. This one through this last one was a 25 increase, which was considered just a renewal, and all of that went to wages just to try to keep individuals here. Right now, we're blessed. We have a probationary program that I talked about today that is thriving in the county. We have firefighters from multiple different agencies sending us their kids instead of having them go to the home departments to train at because of our program. We have just had 8 candidates that I would have loved to hire all 8 of them. They blew me away and made me so proud of the interviews. It's unbelievable. I had 2 other interview committee people. Then you've got a good problem to have. Because I don't know what you're going to choose and who you're going to hire, but you can't go wrong with that group. And the longer we wait to hire people, less of them we'll have. I'm saying we won't still have candidates, but I know it makes it less likely to have the individual apply last week.
Tammy, how much on this is the Oakland County Schools thing through countywide? What are they asking for mill-wise in that?
$1.5 million.
Yeah. So what scares me about this, I understand. So that's we're getting your firefighter side of it, what money you need. What scares me is what's going on with energy prices and fuel prices and everybody like that is the schools are asking for money. I'm not saying that doesn't need money. I think that I personally feel like you basically get, I don't know, what would it be, 25-30% increase in your budget if we ask for the one question, which I think I would think would be likely to get approved. I would just hate to see the 2 questions go, and then Everybody says, no, I don't want to pay any more money, or they say, no, maybe they're better or something like that, you know, and then we're in road trouble, you know?
You were probably be able to vote again on it, but I think that one of the things that you can have to look at is with these questions. If you do a two question, you get stuck with the first question. You are now at least 2 years behind because the next election will be in 2 years. So you're 2 years behind, so you're even further behind than before. And so what happens now is you're going to have to ask for what at that point in time? Is it going to be 2.3 or is it going to be 3.1 or is it going to be 5? I don't know, because the cost of everything goes up so radically. If you get the 3.1 was you get started, then that's what you got. That's where you're going to be. But it's the uncertainty of that particular question that bothers me. And what I hate to see is the fire department gets thrown backwards. It's trying to throw everybody under the fire truck is what it really is doing. It's trying to confuse. It confuses the public in a way detrimental. So if I take 1.5 and add 25 years, move forward 2 years, you have an opportunity to go back and ask for some more. If you can incrementally put yourself up to those points, I showed you that was just 0.5 minutes. What happens is in 2 years, you don't have to do the 0.5 minute only. You can add a minute, or you can add 2 minutes, so the language changes. So we don't have an opportunity right now. So it's better for something. One question and have the odds in your favor because the people understand the value of the fire. To throw something out there that confuses them in a way, start to go, well, she won again, so we're trying to pull out us here.
And
We're not going to do that, so we're storming away at the problem. Somebody's going to go out and like the way this is written. Well, yes, I'll screw with this, if they understand it, screw with us. So it's that little questionable component of it. Unfortunately, we're limited with one question, 2.5 minutes, but in 2 years, you're not. You can go after more.
a lot of the houses, unfortunately, are capped. They can only raise so much. So the house might be worth a lot more, but it's capped. And houses just aren't changing hands right now, right? So we're not getting that increase that you would keep up with the times because of that, which may change in the future too, right? I mean, if things happen to where more houses start changing hands, it's going to uncap, the values are going to go up and it will produce more.
So, if you get the power, I guess it is, it's one for government that has the actual tax plan. That's the low tax. Now you do. So we are kind of like wondering what the heck is going to happen here moving forward and stuff. So I'd like to be. Let's see the deadline on this tonight. Okay. The second one is simple. It says, let's remember what we had. Let's ask for this maximum increase 0.5. Then you're getting 2.7, which is the other question. You're 2.1. So you're getting more at least out of this one. And people, it's a softer understanding to figure this one out. You're doing something that's expiring and you're looking for a 5 increase. That makes more sense. But you do what you want. Well, what you can do from there, I will say, what do you want to do, Chief? Because we throw the ball in the court and we vote in favor of something that maybe is a crapshoot, but it's on your plate.
One question I would ask, if the 185 gets denied, how would that be for what do you go back for?
November. No, if everything gets denied, if you ask the 2 questions and both of them get denied, then you can say something. Then if we do
After we turn on November and ask for 185 plus a half inch Half increase again.
You could, but if they approve the first one
Right.
in this election, then that's what goes on.
I get that. That's why I was wondering if the aspect. And she nodded to me.
What's Mr. Anderson?
Here's the ballot language. Here's what translates into dollars if your cost out of the birth this much money. That gets it down to, and people having to stand there at the voting booth and trying to figure out what that really means to their budget in terms of real dollars. Is that what they're going to do? The other thing that I think that they need to understand is where did the 1.85 that's currently there, where did that come from? So that would be both of them for purposes of constructing the new fire hall, or that's just operating money or whatever. People don't remember that or don't know it because there's voters or whatever. But somehow an additional education is needed for the public to understand. Here's what's coming up, folks. Here are the ballot, here are your ballot proposals. Here, over here in the southern column, or the other section, right besides, this is what means to you in dollars. People will understand it. Would you like what the result is going to be? So what? But if they see something that they have to sit there, stand there in the voting booth and try to do in order to try to prove it out. The easiest thing to do is say, forget it, I'm voting no. Because I don't understand what these guys are trying to pull on me. It's easier to do no than it is to say, hey, look, this is what this needs. And you need to educate the public of that. The other one is, you're going to get additional revenue. With all the new housing division, with all the stuff that you've been dividing everything into half acre lots, there's going to be a whole potload of new houses. There's going to be new revenue that comes from that. Okay, that's my percent.
Thank you.
Disagrees with you that. Here's the nightmare. How do we get to you and you and you and you and you with that information? Whose Facebook page do you read? Whose website do you go on? How do we get, we don't have a newspaper, we don't have a radio station anymore that you can even get anything out of. So how do we get the, and we're not gonna give you 35 minutes of dissertation on your houses, with $405,000, so you're gonna be, okay, $1.85 for every $1,000 times 1,200. Okay, so that's the people at the front. The numbers are there, the math is there, and it's actually simple math, but because it's so simple and so big, you can't do it. And you can't educate it like anymore. It's impossible to get out there with the information you need. So simplification is not easy because you can't simplify it without adding a bunch of language. So you can add language or information that helps them move and look at that question and go, so walking the dog, we have a clue that this is the end. So all our information is out there, we're not going to leave it because they didn't see it, they don't care, and they'll take care of it. So what it boils down to is, what is the more assured language that's going to give us a part of the game? It's likely to get, more likely to get voted on. You know, it's like questions in there. You just wanted to water to a point where, like, here's my statement of that. And I said this to the week before, that if you want to take a chance on it, that's you want to take a chance on it, your firefighters have got some work to do. And if it fails, that's, it could fail in a dramatic way. You know, the stupid thing, what I was trying to get at with a single question is, put the drama into drama. So that somebody doesn't go, well, I hear you say, you know, you should have, and I'm saying that that's the case, but I don't have a magic line with this. But when I picked up those two questions, I went, no, boy. sense, and especially in an environment, is not going to make any sense. I could, you know, I will vote absentee if they won't take that away from us between now and then. I can look at that and I can do the math and I can kind of go through it and then I can go, I don't even call it township to see what get somebody who the office is going to try and explain it to you, and I'm going to pick up the phone, go, I don't get it. I don't get it. But I don't get it. I'm going to vote on it because I don't get it. And that's what I'm afraid of. Because it doesn't make sense to have something that sticks you where you're at. And then another one that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I read the two questions as a one or the other. That's what I'm saying. So I'm reading it as a one or the other. So I think a lot of people may say, I'm gonna go with the lower one. And if that happens and enough people vote that, then that's what's gonna get approved. I would say. I don't think people are gonna vote yes on both. So I think for some may, but I mean, I think they understand, right? I think the large majority probably are gonna say, well, I think less money maybe, and that's what they're gonna check. And then that would be the one that gets approved and it goes to the ballot, and that's the only choice we got.
Because it kind of, you know, the way I looked at that was, well, maybe that's all we need is 1.85 million, and we're just hoping we can get 3. You know, so that's, we'll give them the cheaper one. So anyways. What? Yes.
The second question, 25 increase, is that still a 2-part question as well? Okay, so.
This would be,
There's a renewal, and then because it's 0.5, I'll be within.
right. So.
Maybe I should understand it.
And we come up with a one feature and do old school flyers in the windows of what in this county, all retailers, at the arts council, at the farmers markets, so the farmers markets, I mean, all volunteers do some of that. I'll draft something for you.
Was that?
Next, what's that?
We've got most of this, we don't have to go. So I guess we just need the wording to know what we're going for. That's when we start pushing into full education. It's hard to push all the stuff that we're running to give us some knowledge. Oh, yeah. What words verbiage is going to be. So we're waiting tonight to find out what the verbiage is going to be. We can, if we finally start posting on Facebook, because we're asking for this station questions. Associations that use our station directly just for their meetings monthly. Just to explain how those. I see the supervising system now getting into indoor farmers market as well, setting up a booth in those. You know, it's just to educate. It's just we need this to educate.
So what do you want to do? Can I ask you a question to them? So my question is, if you go with this one, which is what you really need, can you sell this? That's my biggest question. Can you think you can sell this to the public to get the voters out to support it? That's the question. I know you're all ready to go, but how is it? What's your gut telling you? You think you guys can get out and? Because obviously there's drawbacks on both. This is what you need. Can you get out? Do you have a plan in place that you think you can get out and really get the people who need to get out to vote in that election? Because that's obviously going to be the key, getting the right people out there. And you know that. I'm not talking. I'm just saying. You say you're ready to go. Do you think you can? Do you think you can sell this one?
Is it hard part to sell it in what, 3 months?
No,
I mean, that's going to be the hardest part. And honestly, I honestly I've never had to for this size population.
right.
So to say that in 3 months it can be done, that's the hardest part. I mean, it's been
Okay.
not putting the language until tonight.
But the thing is, it's positive they have a 3-month thing. No, it's fresh. And it's not like it's been, not stretching out over a year. People forget too. So there's always a positive. There's a positive for that too. So. I guess it's up to what you think you can do. I mean, it's obviously you guys are the ones ultimately And us too, as people in the community.
Right.
We don't have what we need, it's not good, and we don't want anybody poaching our people, and we don't want, I know, it's called here in Valley Schools, I've been living it for 30 years. Training,
That's the other concern. The other one, we're in 2 years asking again, asking again. You know, it's not us to do
are
it.
you willing to accept 1.85 mils? The first one.
Yeah, if they only know yes on the first one.
First question, if you're gonna go for 3.1 mils, are you willing to accept 1.85 mils for at least 2 years? That's what that boils down to.
We,
Now, let's say, answer both questions.
No.
Both.
That's the ballot language right there that we gave you.
If you can do a special election in 2027, it costs around 50,000, is that? So. If you got the 1.85, I mean, that would have to be a vote of the board too.
And my answer to that is that's irresponsible to spend $50,000. Could definitely potentially against it. By taking less and having to figure out, and then waiting 2 years and get a bigger buildup. Potential, but well, we need to vote on this thing, so it's gonna be 2 question or 1 question.
okay, so we presented 2 resolutions. Resolution 2617 is the single question. Yes. Resolution 2618 is the 2 question option. So somebody needs to make a motion to either approve 2617 or 2618.
I make a motion to approve resolution 26-17, approving submission of the fire millage proposition to electors in the form of 1 question, an increase of 0.5 up to 2.32.
This is the one question one.
Support someone. We've discussed the crap out of it, so let's vote on that.
Mr. Howe,
Oh, boy.
I know.
Yes.
Mr. Charlotte,
Charlie, yes.
Ms. Frederick,
Yes.
Clerk Flowers votes yes, Mr. Salvia,
Sally, yes.
Mrs. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Hamel. Motion carries.
Then so what was the table?
What?
I will say I'm disappointed that there wasn't some better way to figure that out, because I think if it would have been a single question, the likelihood would be that higher knowledge could still pass.
And I still think that they're gonna have to, might not be what you want, but you're still gonna have to go out there and tell people that they're gonna have to vote yes for this.
Yeah.
And then, we got the option in 2 years to really have another look at it, and not be in this position where we're asking for 2 questions.
Right, and in 2 years, we'll have this base millage reduced by Headley,
Yeah.
and then we can ask.
Yeah, you
for
can,
an
whatever we want, yeah,
increase.
with 1 question, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Move on. I'm tired. That was a tough one. I was sleeping over a lot of things, but that one actually has bothered me for quite a while. It's because I'm disappointed that our legal, not our legal team, but our legal leaders in Lansing have figured out ways to make it incredibly confusing for the general public to understand anything that politicians trying to attempt to do. Always seems like it's throwing some kind of a negativity to it, so. All right. New business. Yeah.
We still got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are right, sorry.
Okay, got that. Okay, this is considered approval A special use permit for barn 45 for small scale institutional use at 2115 Road Lake Road. Identification number 1102426002. Applicants and property owners Jamie and Joy Reeves, Lee Family Foundation. You guys are here.
I can kind of explain this if you want, right?
Yes, please.
Well, we've gone quite a few meetings with them so far, and this is probably, since I've been on the planning commission, the most in-depth we've got that I know of with a special land use. Kind of a unique scenario because we're working backwards. They got the cart ahead of the horse, maybe because they didn't understand all the rules that were required. But they were very easy to work with, in my opinion, so obviously there's been a lot of township officials have been out there. I know the fire marshal, the building department's been out there, and they've been very willing to correct anything that they needed to correct. We created an ad hoc committee with the planning commission, so we had 4 planning commissioners. And I think Mary's here. So Mary was on that board or on the ad hoc committee. So they went out, visited the site. I think they met twice. Apart from the planning commission, I think we've seen them at least 3 times at the planning commission. And Beth created a really good special land use, and it really was super descriptive, and it says when you're expecting certain things to be improved. We heard from a couple of residents at the first meeting when there was a public hearing about a couple of issues. Those have been dealt with, some lighting issues and maybe potential noise issues and stuff. And at this point, I think, in my opinion, all of the standards for special land use have been met. We have them in front of us basically, but that it's compatible with some of the other land uses. Some of that is done with screening, some of it's done with the layout of the property, some of it's done with doing certain operations with inside the building. And then this is the first time that I've seen on a special land use that the planning commission and Beth basically put it in there to request that at the end of the year, the applicant's going to come back and give us a synopsis of how the operation went and how many people attended the events and if there was any complaints and how they dealt with the complaints. Obviously, they'll still have to deal with any noise complaints throughout the year, but they worked really well and they worked hard towards it. I'm pretty confident that they're going to be that they're going to do well. And I think at this point they've got a list of things, and you'll see in the special land use, it's got dates that they're going to kind of reach those milestones at. So everybody, I think it was a 8-1 vote at the planning commission basically for approval. So, and this went quite a few meetings. So this was, and obviously we'll still be seeing a site plan from them and some things like that, but this is just for the special land use.
All right.
From what I read, no residents really had any complaints, and maybe noise and lighting, and it seemed like those were handled.
Yeah, we took into account anything anybody said, and we really took those to heart. And there was really 2 residents that showed up that first meeting, and we had more people than I've ever seen in this room. People were standing outside. I mean, I would guess at least 120 people plus in support of it. Not all from our community, but many were from our community. And they do a lot of outreach to, really the biggest thing that they're dealing with is the outreach to the younger generation, basically on Sunday night. So that's really the event that we're looking to try to just make sure it goes well and doesn't affect the community. It is an approved usage in that zoning category. It just has to happen in the right fashion.
Right. So I'd like to kind of take it back to where I personally got involved in it. You, not personally with yourselves, because I try to keep an arm's length. We need to run it through the processes, but I have a philosophy that there's no no's until there's no more yeses. And we put our zoning administrator Carrie to the rubber band test to figure out how we can make something that seems so positive move forward. I had, when the issue came up, I had a number of individuals who I know in the community who came to me to ask me how we could promote an operation like this because of the positivity, because their kids go there, you know, and you have things like that. It's what can we do? What is, there's got to be a yes in there somewhere, you know, before you hit a no. And the irony was, is we hit every one yes came out of that. And that was the advantage of if you could, if you were a church, you have an opportunity. And I think that I'm not a religious person, but I do believe that there's a lot of good that comes out of, you know, the morality of religion. It should be that way. I am a believer in the golden rule, and that came from church as a 5-year-old. So when I was in high school, there wasn't a whole lot of places that we could go that would offer up the same kind of activities that seem to be available to a huge number of young people. Instead out, you know, throwing rocks through windows or doing something to get caught by police. When I was growing up, I just felt that it was important that we found the yes, and you guys had it, and I appreciate that you were able to have that opportunity, and that you have that opportunity. Now, on the other side of it, there were a couple of things that you guys were kind of remiss on, but I also don't believe in that you need to chastise people for mistakes like that, you know, and you need to work, how do you make it better, you know, and so the amount of work that the council went through and that our people in our office, Beth Corwin and Carol and just overall the public coming for support. The other thing in my book is that I have always been trying to find a way to maintain open space. And you can't use your property in a way that you can maintain that open space. Quite often it turns into smaller spaces. As the gentleman, Mr. Anderson said, we all get chopped up into smaller pieces and smaller, you know, more houses, and it takes away the real atmosphere. And I think that this kind of an operation is one of those that has the ability to be able to maintain the open space, because you're not doing this 24/7. It's a thing that is there to you know, on a, what's it, 15 times a year or something, according to the game plan here. Teams that open space. And it gives a place for the youth to be able to see a better path forward than just being, hey, I'm going to get out of this town. There's nothing to do around here. So it would have been interesting for me to have that opportunity when I was younger. Wasn't there. So I have to commend you for trying to do this project, and then hopefully we'll be able to make that decision at this table to help you. So on that note, let's get a motion to move forward here. You got something you want to say, Grant?
No, I'm gonna do this one. I'm not gonna let Jennifer do them all. I move to approve a special land use permit for small scale institutional use for barn 45 at 2115 White Lake Road. Parcel number 11-02-426-002 as recommended by the Planning Commission at their April 16, 2026 meeting, based upon the materials submitted by the applicant, James Lee of the Lee Family Foundation. Various dates filed with the planning department and subject to final review and approval of structural and site modifications required for compliance with the applicable zoning, building and fire codes. The approval is based upon the independent review of the required standards for approval of special land use by the Board of Trustees.
It's not support. Any additional discussion? All right, we'll have a vote then.
Mr. Sharlick,
Charlie, yes.
Ms. Frederick, yes. Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvia, Mrs. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Howe,
Yes.
Mr. Hamel. Motion carries.
So thank you very much, and thanks for your perseverance. And I would very much enjoy having an opportunity to come and visit some point in time and see some activity. And relishing seeing the youth be able to celebrate some things that we didn't get to do when I was younger. So thanks again, appreciate it. And thanks for your perseverance in such a kind way. Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, the next item, what's that? Somebody want to make a motion on this thing?
I make a motion to approve the supervisor to sign the public service contract AMVETS post 2006 for the flags on on 59 program.
Okay, moved and supported. Any question? Well, this is for you. You want to abstain? What's that?
Joe's asking if it would be proper for him to abstain.
No.
I don't believe so.
I required the vote. It's been something from the chair, but when something, choose on the folks. Now. As long as you can be- Right. Let's have a vote.
Ms. Frederick?
Yes.
Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvia?
Seven.
Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
Mr. Charlotte?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Oh, yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Next item is, I'm gonna make a motion to, this is about, request to authorize the DDA to apply for a SIMCOG, planning assistance grant for local road safety path extension project during the 26-27 fiscal year. So what we're trying to look at is finding a way to, extend the pathway at least a month and it's going to the, owners of Highland Township. Responsible. So I'll make a motion that the Highland Township Board of Trustees authorize and support the submission of an application for SEMCOG planning assistance grant for the South Norfolk Road Safety Path Extension Project to complete the engineering necessary to plan the connection of the existing path from California Market Drive to Watkins Boulevard during the 2026-27 fiscal years, pending approval from the Highland DDA Board to support the grant application and provide the required local match. Further, I move that the board direct township staff to collaborate with the Highland DDA and take all necessary steps to prepare and submit the application. Support. Okay, moved and supported. Anybody have any questions? Let's get it done. Here we go. Ryan's been driving for this for 13 years now. All right, so
Clerk Flowers votes yes.
support.
Mr. Salvia? Mrs. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Howe?
Yes, let's get it done.
Mr. Charlotte?
Charlotte, yes.
Ms. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel? Motion carries.
We're gonna skip this next one.
Wait this time.
All right. I'll do this one because I think these people are really of much more. So this is a request to open an event by right account, I guess you'd call it. And so I'm gonna make the motion to approve the Highland Activity Center's use of Eventbrite for online event registration, contingent upon the township attorney's review and confirmation that the agreement is acceptable, and to authorize the township supervisor to sign all necessary documents to establish the account. The account. Support.
We both said it.
We got it.
Yeah, pick one, please. Okay, you got double support on that one. All right. You got any questions? All right, how is this gonna really help you guys?
It would, we have days where it opens up the registration. And if they can't make it in, then there will, the option to sign up online. Because when it was 22 minutes for the Tigers game.
Also, with our little being our biggest example, most people work. You can find we're making 9 to 3. So how can they buy tickets? We're not there. They can't put you fundraising for the community to attend to support the community sports. There's a open to the sports festival.
So I've used it all things for all types of activities, so I think that I appreciate that you guys, whoever came up with this whole idea is, it's, I mean, one of those 2% pay for it, that's even lower, isn't it? Okay. Right, so I made a motion, somebody support, who supported, any other discussion? Okay, let's vote.
Mr. Salvio,
So, yes.
Mrs. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Howe,
Yes.
Mr. Sharlick,
Charlie, yes.
Ms. Frederick.
Yes.
Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvio, Mr. Hamel.
All right, so, Nick, we're on to item. With that, the last thing I have for you guys tonight, which is ending up your evening. Thank you guys for everything you've done for us today. Right now, we have a full-time job that can come available. Full-time firefighter paramedics, went to another department. With that, I was trying to get authorization to basically fill the spot. But I was able to actually complete the application process and get everything offered and find the candidate that we were in opposition to today. Got it all done. So I would like to ask for your permission to hire Gavin Lilly as a firefighter paramedic, starting May 7th. With a starting salary of $54,712.36. And with your guys' approval, he would be our next full-time firefighter paramedic. $54,712.36. That's his first 6 months salary. 36. Entertain a motion for you guys to.
What is the name again?
Yeah.
Robin.
Willoughby.
H. UHB.
Williams?
Thomas Valley. WHBY. Thomas Valley. James, come on.
I make a motion to hire Gavin Labley as a full-time firefighter, beginning May 7th. At the stated rate.
$54,712.36.
Yes, $54,712.36.
Support. Supported.
Oh, it was.
Any discussion? No discussion, vote please.
Mrs. Lewis.
Yes.
Mr. Howe,
Yes.
Mr. Sharlick,
Charlie, yes.
Mrs. Frederick.
Yes.
Clerk Flowers votes yes. Mr. Salvio, Mr. Hamel.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Talking more again. All right, so that was I call that a stressful evening of discussion over how do we move forward. So you firefighters, please do everything you can to spread the word that you what you are. You know how important you are, but I think the public does too, but don't take that for granted. So you guys get out there and you push for this thing because it's really just for you guys. It doesn't come into this office and do anything for us, it's for you guys. And this is the part that's important, so thank you very much, and on that note, meeting is adjourned.